Hey guys, my name is Radu. I work in the social media department here at Infinio, and we thought about translating last week's AMA for you guys because we know you guys have been requesting it. So here it is. We'll also release a blog post on this so it's easier for you guys to read. But yeah, if you just want to follow a video, then keep watching. So as I mentioned last week, we hosted our monthly AMAs. This month, of course, was January. Peter Barta and Christian were both present, whilst Alin left a pre-recorded message because he couldn't make it. So let's just start off with Alin's message. He said that Christian Peter will discuss the new roadmap, the new tokenomics, and the app development. And he also gave some updates. Alin had several meetings in Dubai with VCs focused on fintech and on crypto. And with these VCs, some agreements were signed and more are about to be signed in the future. Of course, for funding, which will be received through equity, and also the new roadmap, which was drawn up with all the relevant stakeholders. We continued with Christy talking about the new financial model for the company, as well as the new updated tokenomics, some details about the app infrastructure, and Christy also showed a sneak peek of the app. Now, the new financial model was drawn up with Adrian, our CFO, and it has some assumptions for the next 5 years, of course, that we're gonna need to confirm. Furthermore, we also modified some of the tokenomics. The supply was cut by a quarter, down from 200 million to 150 million. However, seed sale, private sale, and early adopter tokens remains the same, completely unmodified. Because of VC funds that I mentioned earlier, coming from a classic business world, we were able to cut down from the marketing and development tokenomics, down from 30 million to 11.25 million. Also, the cliff was increased to 24 months. Moreover, team tokens were decreased, halved actually, from 20 million down to 10 million. IDO tokens were also cut from 2 million down to 750,000. The reasoning behind cutting IDO tokens is that IDOs are not that sought after any longer, and we don't want to necessarily raise funds from the IDO, but rather we want to benefit from the marketing that comes with it. Advisor tokens were also decreased from 10 million down to 7.5 million. And lastly, the staking rewards category from the tokenomics was renamed to ecosystem, and also the supply was cut from 80 million down to 63 million. The new tokenomics are based on a model by a major name in the crypto industry, which is used to analyze the tokenomics of emerging crypto projects. Lastly, token inflation was cut from 900% down to 500%. Now, to continue, during the AMA, Christy also showed some pictures of our infrastructure. You're probably gonna see some of them on the screen here. I'm not gonna delve deeper into them because they're really technical. And yeah, if you wanna take a look at them, just pause the video right now and yeah, look. Lastly, Christy showed some sneak peeks of our app. Again, you're probably gonna see some of them on the screen here. If you wanna take a closer look, just pause the video right now. Next, Peter briefly mentioned the updated tokenomics, for which he said that they're not final yet, and they're gonna be finalized once we sign up with the investor we choose. The new roadmap was also shown. It's split into 4 quarters, and for each quarter we have several milestones that we need to achieve. For a lot of them, we actually need your feedback, guys, so stay tuned and you'll find out more in the next minutes. In Q1, we're planning to test virtual IBANs and anything relating to functionality, SEPA, and SWIFT payments. We're also planning to increase the tester base from our current number to 2,000 community members. That means there's going to be some responsibility on you guys because we're developing the app, but we really do need your feedback in order to implement it and make it perfect for you. In Q2, we're adding layers of complexity to the app. Firstly, we want to implement virtual cards so we can test our assumption about this issue, so you will be able to use these cards to pay. Again, we want to increase the tester base to 6,000, and for our MAU, or monthly active users target, we're aiming for 1.5K. In Q3, we're adding layers of complexity to the app again. By the end of the quarter, we want to finalize features relating to open banking, and we're also planning to reach 16K community members, from which 4,000 are monthly active users. In Q4, we have our biggest milestone yet, marked by the first commercial release of the app. We're planning a big event pre-Black Friday, so our users can benefit from using the app during that event. As mentioned, the first targeted market will be Romania, so we can confirm several assumptions about our whole strategy. And in the future, we're gonna create our strategies based on what we learned during our release. Here, the presentation from our side concluded, and then it was followed by questions from the community. Now, the first question was about any CAC strategy, CAC meaning customer acquisition cost. And for that, we do have one. Yes, it's split into several stages. In the beginning, we'll have several awareness campaigns, of course, when we onboard our users. Next question was, when is a token generation event? Here, Christy answered that we're not rushing this, and it's really important for us to have a working app, because if we launch the app simply as a crypto exchange without you guys being able to use your tokens, you might as well just use one of the other major names in the industry. We want to also have something that makes an impact, and we also have several milestones that we need to achieve, and some of these require going live with the app. When we talk about the app, it's important to have a good monthly active user metric. Again, as we mentioned, the responsibility falls also on you guys, because right now we're creating the app, but we need your feedback. The next question was about the design of the cards. Here, Peter said that it's a long process and the design needs to be approved by MasterCard. We're working on several designs, but we currently do not have the final approval on any of them. Furthermore, it also depends on what central banks enable financial operators to have on their card. The next question was about, again, the token generation event. Will it happen in November? Here, Christy said that no, and he also gave the reason for it. As you guys were able to see in the updated roadmap, we really want to test the app. Now, testing of the app really depends on the release of the token, because it will no longer take place on the test network, but rather on the main network. So when we launch the app, the token needs to be released. As mentioned before, using the app will be invite only, starting from token generation event to its commercial release, because we want to create hype around our product. Now, the next question was about international marketing and whether we have a strategy for it. Concretely, no, we do not have one. However, what we're planning on doing right now are LinkedIn posts and Medium articles. In order for us to promote something on the international market, we'd have to completely change our approach. We're using the same steps as we're using right now, namely, we want to create awareness around the product. And once we have our commercial release in Q4, next year we're going to be able to develop targeted marketing campaigns. Furthermore, this year is important for the industry. There's supposedly going to be new regulations, which, if true, are going to make it very much harder to penetrate different countries, because you'd have to get approval for each country individually. One of the last questions was about the current state of due diligence from the exchanges we're going to list on. Here, Christy said that the process is almost done. However, this doesn't mean that we're going to list immediately. We need to have everything ready for the launch of an MVP or a minimum viable product. Now, the next question was about any referral system, which, yes, it's currently being worked on. If there's any news on version 0.3 of the app, and yes, it will be released in Q2. Another question was regarding the current tokenomics and are they final? No, they're not. Once we sign off with an investor, then they're going to become finalized. Okay, the next question was about an Infinio bracelet and if there's any news on this. And yes, we want to create a team around this product. We believe it will gain a lot of hype because Gen Z will also be attracted by this. Of course, for parents, their kids will also benefit from having such an accessory because they're going to have their card integrated on the bracelet. And we also don't want to give up on our loyalty point tokenization, but all of these features will be released after the release of the app. Now, the second last question was any news on the staking. And yes, there will be no more staking until the token listing. The only improvement here is the decrease in supply. Our last question was about ordering physical cards. And you'll be able to order these in Q4, most likely. As for virtual cards, we're planning on having them released in Q2. And that was it for January. Thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments. And if you do have any feedback, it's very welcome. Again, leave it in the comments down below. And we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.